Okay, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, it's time for the Gold Coast meeting. Actually, this is kind of a low-key kind of deal, but we're going to have a little bit of fun. I don't know if you guys have seen what I've been posting on Facebook a lot lately,
Yes.
but I've been doing these swirls and twirls and having a good time with them. I have an action that does all the work for me for the most part, and then it sets it up and boom, puts this out for me. I'll be happy to share the action. It is fairly intensive what it is for me to go through tonight, but I'll have one finished that we'll start with, and then we'll go from there. So let me get rid of fold left, because that's my action for that. And what I want to do is talk about transformations and doing some artistic stuff with free transform. And so what we're going to do, I'm going to start with a flattened image. So I'll go to the bottom down here where it says flatten image, and it's now flattened. Done. Cool. Turn my rulers on by using Command R. And I just want to see what size this is. 8 by 10. Okay, cool. Go back to percent. The reason why I'm setting my rulers to percent, when I do the action later on, the percentage comes in handy for the action running accurately. So what I want to do is I want to make this into a wicked cool looking art piece. I love it now, but I want to make it even better. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit my M for marquee, and I'm going to go down to 50%. Whoops, didn't go far enough. Good. And you can see the ruler on the left-hand side. When it hits 50%, I let go, and it went too far, I believe. Oh, it's close. Okay, cool. At this point, I am going to do a Command Control J, which will bring it up on the selection up on a new layer all by itself. So that's the selection that I have, and I put it on its own layer. I'm going to do a free transform, which is Command or Control T. I'm going to right click and say flip horizontal. Flip horizontal. And then I'm going to drag and know that it didn't do it right. What did I do wrong?
Didn't flip.
It flipped, but not the right way.
Did you mean vertical?
Let me try vertical, see if that's the way I want to flip it. I thought I wanted to do it horizontal. That vertical's the way I wanted to do it, I guess. Okay. And I'm going to select the transformation, let it go. Use my move tool and slide this all the way to the bottom to where it matches up. And that is not how it's supposed to go.
Because you flipped twice. You did horizontal and vertical.
But I actually, if you go to my history palette, you'll see that when I did the transformation, I had actually did a oops key, Command Z.
You backed it out. Sorry.
I backed it out. That's okay. So let's go layer via copy. We do Command T again. Right click, flip horizontal. Something's wrong here. It ain't working.
Are you on the correct layer?
I believe I am. Yep, I'm on the correct layer. Flip horizontal. And it's flipping me backwards, which is weird. Okay. I will outsmart it. Because it's not doing what I want. So what I will do is Command T, right click, rotate 180 degrees, hit enter. Wow, that was hard getting to that point.
That's not how we've done it in the past, Mikey.
I know. Something went weird here. I don't know what it was. Anyway, we just made an artistic piece go from here to here. And you can also take it, now that we've done that, let me flatten the image, Command E to flatten it down. And we're going to go M for marquee, select the left half of the image, 50%. If things go right, Command J to bring it up on its own layer. We are going to Command T. So far, so good. Right click and do flip horizontal. So it was right. I should have gone vertical on it before, but that's okay. Hit enter, drag, whoops. Come on. Hit my move tool. So V for move, slide it over, lock it in place. Yeah, I could live with that.
Cool.
Something a little different. So you take the original image and flip it a couple times and it comes into an art piece.
Very cool.
So what I want to do is go back to my history, go back to flatten image, because that's where I'm going to start at. And we can make an action on how to do this. So all we have to do is click on the action and say, go. So I go to my actions palette. I want to make sure that I'm in Mikey's action, because that's where I keep my good actions at. And I'm going to hit new action. Action 1. Do I want to flip horizontal or flip vertical? Yeah, it doesn't matter. Let's go with flip and vertical. I'm not going to assign it a function key, although I could, so all I have to do is hit the key and make it go. Color code. Well, this is pretty cool. So I'm going to go with yellow and hit record. Now, we talked about making actions before, correct?
Mm-hmm.
Uh-huh. I hope so. Okay, first thing I want to do, I want to do M for marquee. I want to select up to 50%. What do I do next?
And J?
Command J, thank you very much. We're going to put it up on its own layer. When we do that, Command T for free transform. Right click. This is the flip vertical, so I'm going to flip it vertical. Hit return. And what I did was I put it in the wrong spot. I see what I'm doing wrong. That should have been a horizontal flip for what I'm doing. We're going horizontally. But that's okay, I screwed up. We will fix it in a second. V for move. Slide it over to the right to where it matches up at 50%. Hit return. I'm going to hit stop. So everything is where it should be. And I screwed up big time on this one.
We appreciate you doing this on purpose to show us how to do
Wow.
it again.
Rookie.
Okay. Let me delete the last one. In fact, you know what I'm going to do is I'm going to delete all of these, and we're going to start over. This is how you delete them. You select them, hit the trash can, Click OK. And then you hit Control Z a couple of times to make sure everything is back to normal. And then, hey, I said you guys go bye-bye. Flip vertical. We're going to start over with this. Take 2. Okay. I'm going to hit the record button. I'm going to record, and we're going to do a flip vertical. M for marquee. Better yet, before I even do that, let's go ahead, view, new guide, 50%, which puts a guide in the middle, and view, new guide, 50% at the horizontal, and that will draw me a line across the middle. That way, I don't have to worry about finding the 50% mark. I'm going to outsmart myself yet tonight. Okay, M for marquee. Make a selection from the 50% line. And now I have a selection. Let's do a Command J or Control J to bring it up, that selection up on its own layer. Command T to transform it. We are going to right click, flip vertical. I did it right. Yay. Hit enter. V for move, to move tool, or you can go all the way up here and click on that. I don't care, whatever makes you happy. I'm going to slide this puppy up to where it matches. Hit stop, which got the last move current layer command in there, and that's our selection. That's all we need for the action. That's the flip vertical. So if I went back up to flatten image where we started on this, go to my action, click on flip vertical, click play. It's actually putting all the guides in there for me too.
How about that?
How about that? Yeah, it worked. The action worked.
Now, Mike, on this at the end there, you could hit erase guides before you hit stop.
I could.
Remove guides.
Well, since I didn't do that, let's go to move current layer, which is the last step I did. Click on record. Go to view, clear guides. Hit stop.
Oh, so you can add it right, even though you've, okay, so you
Even
just
though-
start the recording and add to it.
You can always add to it. And if you don't like where you put it, you can always move it. So if I wanted clear guides to move up to my selection, I could do that. Now, if I wanted to flip vertical from the right side, I could go in here down to where I did set selection. And that makes my selection there. Instead of writing a whole new action to make it flip vertical from the top, what I can do is do a Command Shift I. I'm going to run through this before I make it part of the action though. Command Shift I should make it go, the top is now selected. So when I did the flip and bring it down, it would be bringing it from the top instead of the bottom. So let's go ahead and deselect, go back in history to flatten image, go to my actions, and I'm going to create a new action. You know what? I'm going to duplicate this action, Flip vertical copy. I'm going to rename it flip vertical top. This one's from the bottom. And I already got the new guides going. Hit set selection. Now what I can do, I can either make my own selection from the top going down, or just from here, start record, Command-Shift-I, which inverses my selection. Layer via copy is good. Transform current layer should run, but the move current layer has to be changed. So we'll transform it. And then move current layer will go bye-bye. Record from there. V for move. Move it down to the bottom. I didn't do the hit stop. I didn't do the layer via copy, but it's going to do it in the action anyway, I hope. So we go flatten image, back to the start again. Action, flip vertical top. Let's see if it works. Push play. Cut selection. I don't want to cut selection. Okay, I screwed up then. I need to make the copy there. Transform, and then move. So record, move, stop, history, flatten, action, run. I should have run through this like 30 times before I did this tonight, but long day. There we go. So now it does it from the top instead of the bottom. So we have flip vertical. I'm going to add bottom to that. Bottom up. Flip vertical top down. And then we can also make an action for flip horizontal to do the same thing as well. Okay, any questions on how confusing I am?
No, I think I'm getting it actually.
I screwed it up so many times, I guess we can get it, huh?
Oh,
Okay.
Totally clear about how confused you are.
I think that glass of wine with dinner kind of hit me pretty good, so.
Mike, I have a quick question. You started out, you flattened the image. What is the reason that you do that?
The reason I flattened the image, if I go back to the opening on this started off as a multi-layered image.
Okay.
And so I flattened it down so it would work much faster.
Okay. All right. Just
Instead, yeah. When you start off with, when I finished doing the transformation into making this as weird as it is, it went from a 41 megabyte file up to 123 megabytes. And so being that I'm working on my laptop, I wanted to make sure that it was in a smaller size, easier to work with. So when I flatten it, it does that for me.
okay.
When you run the action for the swirl, it makes multiple layers, does multiple swirls and twirls and radio blurs and all kinds of stuff. But it also does it as a smart object, which makes it even bigger and slower. So, okay, let's go ahead, run that action again. Doesn't matter which one we do. We'll play that one. Make sure it runs again. Ching, 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 ching. So you see it's running slow already. Come on, you can do it. You can do it.
The spinning wheel of death.
Yeah. It shouldn't be taking that long because this is not a complex action. It shouldn't be taking this long. It didn't take this long when I screwed it up 5 times. It only happens when you're doing a program or a class. It always happens.
Always.
Always.
Guaranteed.
Oh, yeah. Anytime you want it to be in a hurry, it won't do it.
It's still running. Not very fast though. Okay, I'm going to give it another 5 seconds. And I'm going to tell it to knock it off.
You might have to close Photoshop and reopen it because it may just be buffer filled or something.
Oh, you know why? Remember I said it takes forever if you have all these things open? I didn't flatten the image before I did it.
Oh,
I
darn.
wanted to show you by example.
Yeah,
Good
sure.
demonstration.
How you do that?
Nice try.
Okay.
I would have told you you just go out of your way to make me feel good, Mike. I really do.
It's what I do. Okay, I have flattened this image. So let's go ahead and go to flip vertical, push play. Da 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 da.
Much better.
See how much faster that ran? I
Yeah.
wanted to show you an example of what happens when.
And you can go as far as building into at the very beginning of that action that says flatten image, copy layer, and then go forward, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Okay.
You, in fact,
Then that doesn't become a problem.
it's an easy fix. Let's go ahead and go to make new guide. That's the first thing. So let's hit record. Let's hit, whoops, wrong one. Layers, flatten image. Go back to actions, hit stop, drag that up above, flatten image, new guide, and then all the commands. So
Yeah. Okay. I see what you can do.
you can, anytime you need to change these commands, you can do that. If you don't want to make guides, click off the check marks. That will now bypass the guides. So flip vertical top, hit play, it'll run through, but it skipped making the guides this time. And when it gets to clear all guides, it'll say, hey, I can't do this, or not. It didn't say that, but it ran through there and made our selection for us, did all that stuff. Boom, we're done. In fact, we don't need the guides in there because it already knows to go to 50%. If you put in inches, like if I had these set to inches,
You couldn't run it on anyone.
if the guides were set to inches, this is 8 by 10. Let's say I did a 4 by 5 and tried to do this. It would go to 4 inches for the halfway mark. Oh, wait, 4 inches is how tall it is to begin with. So it wouldn't do it. It would just flip it upside down.
8 by 20, it would make a difference.
Any size variation would make a difference. You want to make sure that you keep the same size. So if you use instead of doing inches and use percent, it says, oh, I need to go to 50% to make this happen. So that's why I do 50%, or that's why I do percentage on the rulers instead of inches. Okay, I want to make this into a competition image. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to crop this puppy. And our sizes, they're 4,000 at the longest width. So basically 16 by 20 at 200. So 16 by 20 at 200. And holy moly, it's cropping it wrong.
Well, you've got it backwards. You got to go 20
I know.
by 16.
Yep. I wanted to show you a couple of tricks. Number one, you go up. I got a window that popped into my space. It does it all the time. Let's put it down at the bottom. Okay. There is a left and right arrow at the top where you have your cropping. You just click on that and it changes it for you. Or what you can do, once you have these crop marks in there and you know it's ready to go, you can hit X, which will exchange. Really?
Mm-mm.
Why are you not playing with me? Can you guys hear that beeping going on?
Nope.
Maybe it's just my keyboard making that noise. If you hit X, it should exchange the values between 16 by 20 and 20 by 16. But it's not doing that because it wants to mess with me tonight. My computer's tired. So I'm going to hit enter. That's now 16 by 20 at 200. Image size, 4,000 pixels at 200. I'll save it at 10. So that's the official size we need for image competition, right?
Right.
Thank you. I know somebody's listening. What I'm going to do now is I am going to make a border around it, a couple inches, probably 3 inches on each side. So I'm going to go to image, canvas size, 3 inches wider, 3 inches taller. And I'm going to not want white on this. I want to pick a darker color, such as the color that's in here. I don't think that's a complete black, and it's not. It's close, but not quite. So I'm going to click OK. Click OK. And if things go right, and it did, we now have an extra background going around there. And I think I need to do something a little bit different before I do that. So let me hit Command Z to undo that. Flatten the image. Because with that half an image up on top, it's not going to work. Command J to make another layer. Go to image, canvas size 3, 3. The color is still the same because that's the last color I used. Click OK. And that worked. I want to put a stroke on there because you can't go without a stroke. Now the question comes, what color do I want to use for a stroke? Any suggestions?
I'd go with the yellow maybe. Or
Maybe
the purple.
Yeah.
Maybe a darker part of the yellow or the
A
purple?
darker yellow, yeah, like on the left.
So I got my eyedropper, kind of the gold there. Let's check purple. I kind of like the purple,
Yeah.
Too.
but I want to pick a color that's inside of here that it's going to pick up. Click OK, click OK. Go back to image size. I need to change this to 4,000 pixels again because I made it bigger. Click OK. That's now 16 by 20 at 200. Yeah, I think I like that color. It just kind of, it's there, but it's not super strong. I could live with that.
Now, how many megabytes is that? Because there was a megabyte limit on the.
Right. Okay, Command Shift S. Save as JPEG. I'll put it on my desktop. And, oh, this is set at 16.
Yeah.
Let me save it. Close it, don't save. Go back to open recent. And of course, it's not in there. Where is this at? That's not it. Close that. Hide Photoshop for a moment. Hide that for a moment. Hide. Go away. You guys can't see what's popping up on my screen. So.
No. No, all we see is Photoshop, Mike.
Okay. And Photoshop's minimized right now on my screen, so you can't even see it. And I just brought it back up. Okay. Now if I do a save as, JPEG, replace, hit preview, 1.2 megabytes.
Where do you read that?
It's right in
below preview.
Oh, yeah, okay. All right.
right in there.
And if you wanted to change that, can you, with that slider, can you?
We save for print comp, we save at a level of 10, which makes it smaller. If I move it to 12, it's 2.6 megabytes.
Wow.
Okay.
So 10 is, well, it's just about half the size.
Wow.
You can send a 10 to a lab for printing if you want to save space when you're doing it. So you can send a 10, quality 10 to the lab. They will print that without a problem. The only difference is if you try to make it bigger later on, you'll see that it's going to change the pixel depth when you do that. But for our purpose, 10 is just fine. Do you want me to go through that one more time?
I can watch it on YouTube. I don't know if someone
Okay.
else see it.
That'll work.
But I appreciate that, though. That's a quick way to do it. It takes me about 3 hours to get there.
Yeah, it takes me about 10 hours to get there sometimes. Let's see what we got. Got that one. I'm trying to find something we can discuss. I gotta wait for my computer to catch up. It's running very slow right now for some reason. Any questions while we're waiting for the computer to play?
I get a little confused if I try to add a double mat,
A
a double
mat?
stroke, double
Okay.
stroke.
Okay.
That shouldn't be that's something you've gone over. I know I shouldn't have trouble doing that.
Well, let's go ahead and do it again. It's okay.
Alexa, turn on bedroom light. Sorry.
Whoa.
It's almost like the clapper.
I know. I guess that's how lazy I am.
And mine downstairs is trying to turn on a light now.
Okay, here we go. Alexa, turn on brain. It
It
didn't work. I don't have Alexa.
doesn't work. I've tried.
Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go the long way around because I've already flattened this image out. I'm going to select the,
Well, just add, okay, just add a different color, Mike, so that you can see the
well,
map.
I'm going to, I am, but I got to I got to do something different. So add another layer here, Command J. Cool, it worked. You can see I've got a second layer going on now. I'll explain why I'm doing this in a second. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put a stroke on this. So stroke, same color, same size, same
Okay.
color, same size. Click OK. There you go, double stroke.
I'm sorry, Mike.
Nice try, Mike. Go fish.
Technically, it's a double stroke. However, you can't see it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my fill down to 0.
Okay.
Take the fill down to, not the opacity, just the fill. And what that does, it leaves
Oh.
the stroke on there. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to leave the fill at 100 on this one. Command J to make a copy of that layer. Because I flattened it already, I'm screwing myself up doing this.
Sorry, I should have asked sooner.
It's okay. We're doing it. There's always a way around. Okay. If I turn off everything, bring this one up, I have fill at 0, but I've got my stroke still there. If I turn the opacity down and the fill at 100, the stroke goes away, as does the image. So opacity 100, fill at 0. I'm going to keep this in there for looks. I'm on layer 1 copy, where I'm going to put my second stroke. I'm going to go Command T, and I'm going to increase the width by 102. I'm going to increase the height by, let's say 102.5. Nope, too big. 102. We're doing both at 102. Sometimes when you're doing it, it gets a little awkward on the size. Click OK. Lock in the transformation. Open up the bottom one again. And now you have 2 strokes.
Cool. Thank you.
You're welcome. It's easier than you thought it was, huh?
Yeah, I hate to tell you what I was doing. It was convoluted.
The key to this is the fill right here. If you
Uh-huh.
take the fill down, the image disappears,
Yeah.
but the stroke stays. If you take the opacity down, everything disappears. Okay?
Fantastic. Thank you.
Okay. Close that,
can
don't
do that.
save. Let's go to I'm going to stop sharing for just a second. I'm going to go to my desktop so you guys can see what I'm doing. I have an image here from Mammoth that we shot in 18 when I went up with Dan Holmes and Mel and a few other peoples. I'm going to open that image. And right now it's saved as a PSD file, so it's fairly large, but that's okay. It's not bad. Let's do image size. And I want to make it a lot smaller. So let's go inches and width at 4, 6. Let's go 200 because I don't know if my computer can keep up with this or not. Still decent size. I can live with that. Everybody can see that okay?
Yes.
Yes.
Good. Color monkey, attention required. Always during a class, it pops up and says, color monkey required.
Of course.
Click this message to launch. No, go away. All I ask is you go away. Thank you. Okay. This is the swirl action at work. I'm going to click play, and I'm going to sit back, and I'm going to wait for it to do something.
Wow.
And with this being such a slow computer right now, you can see each step as it goes
Mhm.
and goes and goes. And then you have to wait for it to run and finish, and it is done. It's now officially done. That is what they call the swirl action. So
Wow.
let's go ahead and crop it. Put my preset crops over here, 5x4 at 300. And we crop with all of the smart objects in there and the smart filters. It has to run through the filter again to make sure they match up. And then you wait and you wait. And if I was smart, I would have flattened it before I did that. I know better. It's the wine that's killing me tonight. And I apologize for that.
Sure, blame it on the wine.
Okay, it's my brain that's doing it. I've been inside too long.
That I'd buy.
Okay. Let's flatten the image before I forget. And let's go ahead and zoom in to see what we got here. And we'll go filter, camera raw filter, tweak the contrast a little bit, give us some texture, give us some clarity, and vibrance, bring up some blues. I like blue, by the way. Blue is my favorite color. Bring the yellows down just a little so they're not too bright. Click OK. And it makes the strings come out just a little bit. Should we go from the bottom or from the top? Which way we want to go?
Go from the bottom on this one because that blue might be interesting flipping it.
That blue's beautiful.
We'll find out. Run the action.
Yeah.
Ooh, looks like a spider.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And that was some fall trees.
Those were some fall trees. That was a fun trip.
Yeah.
If PPC does it again, y'all need to go. It was a lot of fun. Or we need to just set up a trip and go ourselves.
That would be fun.
That would be a total blast. Okay, go out of that. Turn my rulers back on. And you'll notice my rulers right now are set in inches,
Yeah.
but it did in percentages. It knows it is supposed to go percentages. So let me save this just for fun. T and JPEG. Oh, that was from the bottom, wasn't it?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Oops. Oh, well. That's okay. Go back to image size, action, top, go. Oh, I forgot to twirl it. Duh.
It'll be interesting to twirl it now.
Okay, we can do that. Flatten image. Action. Dumb Mike. Go. I may
You're
not
gonna
put this on
show your-
YouTube.
Swirl action.
This may not go on YouTube after this.
You can make
Wow.
it a private one just so we get to rewatch.
You know what? I could.
Yeah.
Although I got to let Janine watch because she couldn't do it tonight.
That is cool. So cool looking.
Okay, that is the swirl.
Wow.
Flatten image. Let's go to filter, camera raw. I don't know how much I want to do to that. A little contrast. Texture. And okay. Action. Oops. Bottom up. Came out kind of cool.
Yeah, so that's with a double flip. You flipped it before you swirled. So interesting.
You turn it on its side, it looks like it's somebody going like this. Oh, or the other way.
Looks like my hair when I was younger. I heard that.
That's really cool.
It's a lot of fun doing. I'm so addicted to doing these stupid swirls. It's not even funny anymore.
Can you share your swirl action?
It's an action, and
Are you gonna-
if you talk nice to me, I will send the action to you. I'm sharing it from Debbie Lefevre down in Orange County, with her permission, of course. I would not do that without her permission.
Of course.
But I've also modified the action to add a couple of things in there to make it run just a little bit better. And I forget what I did to
What's
modify
those
it.
last two steps, I think?
Oh, I think in the beginning, the first thing you're supposed to do in the action or before you run the action is make a copy of a layer. Well, I didn't need to make a copy of the layer. I can do that in the action. So I just added a copy layer. And made it easy.
Merge.
And then the merge, yeah.
I have never played with those filters, but I'm going to start playing with them.
Oh, I tell you, these are so cool.
Yeah, you go down a rabbit hole, that's for sure.
Yeah,
And we're finding that the more color the image has, the better it turns out.
Oh, cool.
The colors have to be complementary for each other. But you start running it on things going, would this work? Oh my God, it works. Nope, that didn't work. You just,
So you're probably taking photos of things specifically based on color and nothing else for that.
I did a flower yesterday when I was bored. I went out in the backyard. It was kind of windy, but I got a shot of the flower. And then I did a swirl with it, and I think I've got a print comp image. So
Oh,
I
wow.
can't show you guys on this because it's recorded.
Awesome.
And then the one I showed earlier, the blue one, that one's definitely going to print comp. So we'll see
That's
what
so cool.
happens. So what else? Anything else I can do for you guys? You get the
No,
bonus
that was
class.
very good.
Cool. Thank you.
Thank
You guys-
you.
I'm glad you guys
You
showed
could
up.
actually,
Take
you could
the
actually
time
do
to
an
do
action to make your print ready for competition too, couldn't you?
You could, except you'd have to make some stops in there to select
Make
the color,
Yeah.
the color of the stroke, the width of the stroke to make sure it matches perfectly. But yeah, you could write an action for just about anything.